UK small business growth. That's not a headline you're seeing much in the news at the moment in the UK, but I truly believe that we have opportunities here in the UK. If you understand the demographics, remember that we're the sixth largest economy in the world, and our national history of getting it done, I truly believe that we've got a lot of potential to unlock. And if you're watching this video, clearly you're potentially one of them. So let's dive into the presentation. So we're talking about insights, challenges, and opportunities for UK-based businesses. We're going to work our way through several sections, but I'd love to start with where we're at right now. We got one of the highest tax bills that we've had since the 70s. We're seeing a lot of millionaires leave the UK. However, 83% of leaders feel confident about their business prospects in 25. Business leaders feel less positive about the UK versus other markets they operate in. So we're seeing that people are positive about their business, but not positive about UK growth. So we're in a unique situation where everything is negative, or everything that's coming out is negative. However, we can reverse that trend. If we just change a few things, I truly believe we can take the step up. We are the sixth largest economy in the world, and we do have quite a high consumer spending rate, a stable regulation. So that means that we've got years of history, and a lot of people have copied our systems. Let's not forget that. And we also have some interesting demographics. So we do have an aging population in the UK. And one of the most interesting stats I read recently is that we're making more 60-year-olds than 20-year-olds, which is a little concerning. But let's not remember that the baby boomers are one of the most wealthy generations that we've ever had in history. So there is opportunity there. And I've kind of sort of delved it down to three things: health, wealth, and lifestyle. So if you're sort of thinking about starting a business, think about this demographic and think about those areas and that discretionary spending for that demographic. The other thing I'd just like to make the strong point or strong case for here is it's not difficult to stand out. There's a lot of people in the UK or businesses and organizations that do things to an average level. You know, when do you get exceptional customer service in the UK? When are you surprised? And when you are, you repeat. You know, I think Octopus Energy is a great example of that. You know, a fantastic company that I'm with and I will stay with because their customer service is excellent. So think about that as an opportunity that maybe things aren't being done that well, and that's where innovation comes in. And you can just tick some basic boxes and stand out. You know, I've just put here, being clear, fast and responsive already puts you in the top 10%. It's not difficult. Respond to inquiries quickly, and that will give you you're in the top 10%. The next question I've got for business owners here is, are you working on or in the business? Now, I have definitely been guilty of working too much in the business, i.e. just operating, customer service, you name it, I'll do it and I love doing it, but that's really not where my time should be spent. My time should be spent on growing the business, on not operating the business. It should be spent on, new ideas, new partnerships, new business ventures, whatever it might be. That's where I think I add my value, as opposed to just replying to emails and getting back to people. So the other thing that sort of, when that happens, is it forces you to build better systems, because you don't want to be stuck in the sort of the weeds. And the amount of people that have fed back to me and said, Josh, you're too in the weeds, get out of the weeds. And I think that the only reason I could transition there was once I had systems that people could work within, as opposed to stepping out and everything falling apart. Now, this for me leads beautifully on from what I was just saying. One of my mentors told me about the Shell manual, and this was basically a massive book that Shell Energy have. And essentially, if you need the toilet, it'll tell you where you go to the toilet. It's that detailed. And I think the other one I remember my girlfriend telling me about, which was, I think, the flight manifesto or the flight checklist. and essentially it was how the NHS was improved by copying what pilots do. They have their checklist when they land and they work their way through the checklist, and that saved lives. So if you can kind of have this mindset that everything within your organization has a system and a process, that's going to improve everyone around you, because as well, everyone's on the same page. So there's some ideas here for you to think through, but always think about that Shell manual. Think about, do your employees know exactly what they're doing and exactly what your culture is and exactly how things work? The next comment for you is that not all of the UK is expensive. And I think that's a really important point to make. If you come to the north, I'm proudly from Yorkshire, but if you come to the northeast, you're able to get commercial property and residential property that is very good value. And I would strongly recommend leveraging the fact that we have reasonably high income levels in the UK, but very high regional inequality. And if you understand that as a positive, you can then think about, okay, maybe I want to base myself in Manchester. Okay, what are some areas that are good value just outside of Manchester? Maybe it's Bolton, maybe it's Oldham. I don't know, but you need to sort of use that as an advantage, not a disadvantage. The next thing is an amazing stat that 42% of the workforce is a graduate. And there was another great survey done recently, which basically stated that most of the employed people in the UK are actually overqualified for the role they work in. So that's, again, a huge opportunity. We've got some talented people. If we can find them and get them doing things that they're really, really good at, that's going to be great for both you, your business, and the UK economy as a whole. The only other side to this is minimum wage now, I think, is around 25, 27k, which is a lot of money. That's a decent income, and that's a positive thing. That is a positive thing. But from running a business perspective, you've got to be super efficient with labor costs, and whether that's systems or processes or automation, my favorite, automation, then great. But I do think now you have to have a blend of UK and overseas talent, and those overseas contractors that you use to come in. You can find some amazing people that really, really want to work with you. So that blend, I think, is a beautiful thing. So that's kind of the presentation, guys. All my angle is here is seeing the UK make a reversal from this current downtrend. That's all I'd love to see. And I truly believe that we have some incredible people and small businesses and entrepreneurship and innovation. If we can nail that, my God, our country's going to turn. So good luck. And if you need anything, feel free to send me a message. Thank you.